Hello, my name is Jamie McKetchie, and some of you might recognize me. I'm the library director at McPherson College. So when you go into Miller Library, I am usually sitting behind the desk. Dr. Bowman invited me to your class today to talk about finding an academic or scholarly journal article for an upcoming assignment that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my PowerPoint. There we go. So again, we're going to talk about searching smarter, how you can find the information that you need and how Miller Library can help. I really very much miss being at Miller Library and seeing students. I miss you all so much. But know that I'm still here, again, in this online environment. We'll talk a little bit about at the end about how you can contact me. But yeah, know that even though I'm not sitting at Miller, I'm still here and happy to help you with your research. So the plan is we're going to start with just talking about what an academic or scholarly article is. Then I'm going to show you how to access the Communication and Mass Media Complete database. That's where you're going to find the scholarly article for this particular assignment. And then I'm going to walk through the process of how to find a scholarly article, specifically in the human communication field, since that's the discipline that you're studying in this class. So first of all, what is scholarly communication? According to the ACRL, the Association of College and Research Libraries, it's the system through which research and other scholarly writings are created, evaluated for quality, disseminated to the scholarly community, and preserved for future use. And so now that you all are part of the scholarly community, your students, you all are part of the scholarly communication, the scholarly conversation that's going on. And so your role in this communication for this particular assignment is going to be seeking out and learning something new from another scholar who has done research in this field. And just to give you a little bit of background, the library's role in this conversation is really to aggregate, preserve, and disseminate this information. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more coming up, but that's what the scholarly communication process looks like generally. So let's talk specifically. What is an academic, scholarly, peer-reviewed journal? These are terms that you might have heard in the past, and maybe I've been to one of your classes before and we've talked about it, but let's review it a little bit more again, or for the first time. First of all, an academic journal is a periodical focused on a specific academic discipline. So let's take that first word, periodical, first. A periodical is a publication that is published periodically. So you all are familiar with periodicals. Newspapers are periodicals, magazines are periodicals. Again, unlike a book that is just published once and done, a periodical is published in a set of issues over time. In comparison to newspapers and magazines that kind of have a more general audience or trying to convey, some updates about the news or about a particular topic in a magazine, academic journals are focused on a particular academic discipline. So scholars within that very specific discipline have their scholarly communications through these periodically published academic and scholarly journals. Next, scholarly journals contain original research by experts as well as research and book reviews that are relevant to the field. So unlike a newspaper article that, it's maybe pretty short, it's giving just this update about something happening in the world, academic journals, the articles within academic journals are basically mostly research papers. So a scholar has conducted research in their particular field and they're wanting to communicate it to other scholars in that field or students in that field. In addition to original research, there are often also research reviews or book reviews. So a research review would be kind of a compilation of like a literature review, basically. And then also book reviews, so people who have read recent books in the field and just want to share that information. For this particular assignment, you're going to be looking for original research, and I'll talk in a little bit about how to make sure that the article that you find is original research and not just a research or book review. And then finally, Academic or scholarly journals have journal editorial boards. They do this process called peer review that you might have heard of before publication to ensure the quality of the research. And that just means that each article that is submitted for publication to the scholarly journal, that is shared with other scholars in that field, again, that are on that editorial board, and they give feedback to the original author. Maybe there are some changes that are even made to the article, and no articles, in order to be published in the journal, the article has to be approved by members of that editorial board. So this just ensures that the quality of the research that is published in academic journals is really high. So really quickly, I thought it would be helpful to show you an example of an academic journal. These are not the sorts of publications that we all just, read for fun and for leisure. And so since it's probably a new kind of material for you, I wanted to give you an example of what one looks like. So I went ahead and pulled up the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior. You can see this, and this is just this particular journal's website. It's published by Springer. And you can, let's go to the homepage first, I'm sorry. Okay, so each journal has a description of the kind of content that is included in that journal. Usually the journal titles are pretty straightforward. This is a journal that contains original theoretical and empirical research papers on major areas of nonverbal behavior. Are we surprised? It's the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior, right? You can see here, there's a link to the editorial board. And this, as I was saying, each scholarly journal has an editorial board. It's a group of scholars that help to ensure that what is being published in the journal is academically sound. And so we can see here for this particular journal, there's a large, number of people who are involved in that editing process. And they come from all over the world. And again, it's scholars in that particular field. So let's look at the volumes and issues. You know how a newspaper is published every single day and it's got like the date at the top? In academic journals, the way that the particular issue is described is using two numbers. There's the volume number and the issue number. So we can see here, if we scroll down through all of the many issues that the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior has published, it goes all the way back to volume 1. So basically, every single year is a volume in journal speak. So in the first year of publication, it was 1976, 77. In the second year, 1977, 78, that's called volume 2. 78, 79, volume 3, and so on and so forth. And then within each year or each volume, you'll have multiple issues. Depending on how frequently the journal publishes, you might have monthly issues or every other month issues. This particular journal publishes on a quarterly basis, and so there are 4 issues throughout the year, like a spring, summer, fall, winter sort of thing. And let's just do an example. Let's say that I wanted to research laughter. That's a nonverbal behavior, right? Within articles, or sorry, let me go back here. Let me say one more thing. Let me click into an issue. So we've got the volume. That is, each year there's a publication, there's a new volume. 4 times a year in this particular publication, there's a new issue. The final number that you'll need if you're trying to describe a particular article is a page number. So you'll see here, there are all of these different titles of different articles that were included in this issue, and each has a page range. And so you'll need those 3 numbers. What are they again? They're volume number, issue number, and page number, and that's how you identify a particular article within an academic journal. So I have been thinking that I just need to have a smile on my face more during these difficult times, so I thought maybe we should look into the topic of laughter briefly. So let's take an example. Here is an article about laughter. You can see here's the title. And the main thing that I want to point out here is just, It's expensive, right? In order to view this particular article that might be the perfect article for me to read for my research, the publisher is going to want me to spend $40. And I do not have that kind of money. And so I'd like for you to welcome you to come back to part 2, where I'm going to show you part 2 and 3, where I'm going to show you how to use the library resources to get direct access to these resources. So I'll see you in a little bit.